And welcome back to Los Angeles here at the LAAC. My name is Dave Vincent alongside Dave Fink. This is the WPH Simple Green Race for 8 as we're getting ready for Nate Alvarado and Shawn Lennon for the semifinals match. We just saw Alan Garner defeat Luis Moreno. Let's go courtside to the great Fred Lewis, who has Alan Garner. Fred?
Hi, I'm here with Alan, and Alan's icing down his shoulder, getting ready for this afternoon's final. Alan, this is your first trip to the finals. What did you do differently this tournament that we haven't seen, the rest of the year?
Semifinals of the day.
Been training a little bit
Tucson,
different.
we got
Training more and
Shawn
trying
Lenning.
to lose a little bit of weight. But I've been playing my friends at home, hands versus racket with the handball. It really helps out. After
Serving,
Luis killed
receiving
me
serve,
in
we
Atlanta,
got
I
Nate
thought that was
Alvarado from
necessary. Just
California.
because I don't see that kind of speed. I think that was part of it.
Well, you looked very sharp, especially in the first game. You were taking advantage of, his mistakes and setups, and used a really good combination of kills and pass shots. What goes through your mind, when you get a setup? What are you trying to do?
Mostly just trying to move my feet and get into position. That's pretty much it. I mean, I guess it's all. I don't really do a lot of thinking. I just try to make it for its second nature, just get in position and shoot it low. I was hitting it pretty good there in the first game. I was doing it well.
Well, there in the middle of the second game, you kind of let him back in the match a little bit with some unforced errors. What was going through your mind then? What were you trying to accomplish?
It was weird in the first part of the game. I started out a little bit slow, and then I hit some really good kills. And then I was missing them, but I still felt like I was hitting it well. Like my kills were barely missing, so I just thought I'd just keep shooting and they'll go in.
Well, great. Congratulations. We're getting ready to start the second semifinal match, and the winner of this will be your opponent later on today, so good luck.
Thanks a lot, Fred.
Okay,
Thank
back
you.
to you guys.
Thanks, Fred. Fred talking to Alan Garner there, and I believe Shawn Lennon has actually scored 3 quick points here against Alvarado, who just poked that ball out of the back wall.
2 serving 0.
It's actually 2-0. Maybe it went off the side.
Nate's been a very slow starter, Dave, in the last, well, really all season here on the Race for 8 Pro Tour. Remember in the first event in Plummer, he just looked terrible in his first game against Charlie Shanks, was blown out 21-6, was down big in the second game before rallying. He's had similar problems, Dave, throughout the season, although he has advanced to no worse than semifinals or finals in every event. He's been very consistent. Hasn't yet won an event.
Short. Second serve.
And Nate gets another point there.
These guys, Dave, are ranked number 2 and 3 right now, but they've only met one time this season on the Race for 8 Pro Tour. That match was in the finals in Fresno, won by Shawn Lennon in 2 games. First game, very lopsided in favor of Shawn, and the second game, somewhat competitive. But Nate has not been able to defeat Shawn Lennon, Dave, in
Appeal to serve. I called it good.
several years, losing to Shawn in the finals in
agree.
Tucson 12 months ago at
serving
the
3.
pre-race event. But as I mentioned yesterday, Dave, Shawn Lennon to me does not look like he's mentally or physically prepared for this
serve.
event. It already looks like he's breathing heavy right now, Dave, just 5 points into this match.
Actually 6 points. That's a double
I
fault.
couldn't see it. Shawn was in my way. He was in my way, so I couldn't see it.
Luis saying he couldn't see it.
I saw it short. This should be a side out.
Yeah, I couldn't see it. You were like right in front of me. I'm going to play that over because I couldn't see it. Second
That's
serve.
an unfortunate break for Shawn Lennon. That would have been a double fault for Nate Alvarado. The score is actually
Second
3-3.
I think they're playing it over.
Playing it over and still giving Nate a second serve here.
I agree with you, Dave. I thought it was short.
One of them saw it good.
Surprised Nate went with that serve on a second serve. Generally, you don't try and just clear the line with a second serve, but Nate was going for an ace right behind himself there. That time plays a safer second serve.
Normally that ball would hit that side wall and stay up, but instead Shawn hits the crack. Nadi goes down to one knee, now goes after the towel. And Shawn gets the side out. You know that's frustrating. You see the look on Shawn's face. He wants to get up there and serve.
Well, rumor has it, Dave, that Nadi actually wets that knee brace before entering the court. So every time he goes down, even if it is just in the beginning of the match, the floor is soaked. And I think he wets that, Dave, so that it slides more on the floor. I think he warms it up in warm water, and it also may keep his knee warmer. Not sure. We've never actually talked to him about that.
Or maybe somebody should.
Hold it. That's a point, side out. I mean point.
That's going to be an avoidable.
Gotta give him room.
That's the second avoidable called against Nadi in this event.
5 serving 3.
That's 2 more than any other player, but Nadi doesn't disagree. I like Nadi's approach, Dave, to when those avoidables are called. He just accepts it as part of the game, and he walks back.
Nadi Alvarado at breakfast this morning was asked by the great Fred Lewis, "How you feeling, man?" Nadi Alvarado said, "Old." Guess that answers the question. 38-year-old Nadi Alvarado from Spring Valley Lake, California, which is a sleepy suburb of Hesperia. That ball looked like it could be called short too, by the way, Dave.
Shawn breaks over the top of that fly kill, Dave, and runs the ball down the left side wall. I wouldn't be surprised, Dave, to see a tight tiebreaker here in this match.
Shawn Lennon represents the Seattle LAAC team, and Nadi Alvarado, the Tucson Gunslingers.
I thought that serve was good, Dave.
They called it short. What did you see? Said it was screen.
Luis Moreno, Dave, is in the hot seat as both these guys are serving bullets either just over the line or just before the line, and it's very difficult to call, particularly from his vantage point there, Dave, when he's looking over the receivers.
This is bad here, Dave. Luis called that a point.
I agreed with the call.
This is a bad call here, I believe, from the referee, and we could look at a replay at any time of that to show you exactly. Nadi runs into Shawn Lennon and could have dove backwards at least and tried to pump it to the back wall. I disagree with that call from the referee.
I agree with the call, actually.
What?
Nadi's pinned here. Yeah, I agree with this call.
He runs into Shawn.
No,
there.
no.
Ball's off the back wall.
Nadi made no attempt at that ball.
He ran into Shawn. He made the attempt and ran in. As soon as you make contact, you raise your
Nadi
hands.
tried to play that ball off the bounce, which he had no chance to play. Had he backed up and taken it off the back wall, that's a different story.
That's probably the worst. Look, he could still get it. That's a terrible, terrible call from the referee, and I totally disagree with you, Dave. 7-4 score here.
Short.
He ran into Shawn and he stopped. Ball came off the back wall within 2 feet of where he was standing. So I guess what you're saying is he should drive through that pick and still go after it to show the ref that he could have got to it.
What I'm saying is, from what I've seen from Nadi Alvarado, particularly early in games, he doesn't tend to run balls down early in the first game, and I think he made up his mind there that he wasn't going to run that ball down off the back wall. I've seen Nadi Alvarado play a lot of matches, and particularly early in games, Dave, he just lets those balls go, and I think he was in the mindset to let that ball go, and he ran into Shawn, creating that contact so that he wouldn't have to run that ball down.
I don't think he had to run that ball down. It was only 2 feet away from where he's at. That's not running. That's just readjusting at that. Nadi walked up to Shawn Lennon and said, "You want to get rid of the ref?"
9 serving 4.
It's interesting, Dave, that the only ref Nadi seems to have problems with is Luis Moreno, and the only time Luis seems the ref is when Nadi's playing. It's just funny how that works out.
Well, the referee's already missed a couple short calls and is saying that he can't see these balls, whether they're over the short line, and I think Nadi is starting to say, hey, if he can't see it, he's not going to make that call, then you want to get rid of him. And it took Shawn getting a short call against him that was actually good for Nadi to say, walk up to Shawn and say, do you want to get rid of the referee? But you're right, it is ironic that that does keep taking place here in every single one of their matches. Let's go to Fred Lewis, who's courtside. I don't know if he still has the microphone, but Fred, does it seem disruptive right now with what's going on in the court?
Well, yeah, a little bit. Just FYI, Dave, I agree with you. Nadi would have had that shot. You can't say whether he would have gone for it or not. The bottom line is the ball was up. It came off the back wall about 3 or 4 feet.
10
And there's no
seconds.
doubt in my mind, if Nadi had gone for the ball, that he would have gotten it. That being said, yeah, there's a little bit too much controversy right now.
Serving 4.
And, you know, Luis needs to step up and make some better calls.
10-4 is the score here. Shawn Lennon serving in the green shirt from Shoreline, Washington, implanted into Tucson, Arizona. And Nadi Alvarado from Spring Valley Lake, California, here in the high desert.
Very nice short hop pickup 2-wall pass from Nadi Alvarado with Shawn Lenning on the ground just in front of him.
5 serving 10. Hold it. Play it over.
Nadi not looking sharp yet today, but that can change in a hurry, as we've seen with Nadi, Dave, throughout these events.
5 serving 10.
We call it flipping the switch. Nadi flips the switch. He's elite. Look at that ball just laser across the line. You've seen that yesterday when you played Nadi.
But Shawn does well with the return and then hits that beautiful V pass.
Looked like it slid up on that side wall too.
It's difficult, Dave, to hit those V passes right to
11
right.
serving 5.
Generally, you hit the V pass cross court.
Right out.
Yeah, Shawn's one of those that is able to do it. Now, you said earlier today that Luis Moreno was one of the guys that hit that V pass
11.
down the same wall
With his offhand.
with his offhand. And I said Shawn Lenning's the guy that can do it, just like Luis can. But I'm thinking maybe Shawn Lennon could do it better with his strong hand than Luis can, or does it more often, I should say.
Shawn showing a lot of confidence there, Dave. Running back to the back wall, setting himself and shooting that ball. Most players, Dave, run back to the back wall and just flip the ball back into more of a neutral position. Shawn Lennon goes for the kill. Shawn Lennon telling me this morning, Dave, that he's bored if the rally goes more than 5 shots. He's going to take his chances whether he's playing rally scoring or traditional scoring, because he just doesn't really have the concentration to keep these long rallies alive. So he's going to go for his shots.
Serving 6.
13-6. You saw that Nadi flip that ball to the back wall and it hit Shawn.
Screen. It went right by you. Yeah, but it was a screen.
It's a late call, but I think the right
13
call there.
serving 6.
Oh, look at that serve, just over the crack too.
And Nadi has really struggled with the Shawn Lenning serve in the matches they've played over the last year, Dave. He said when he lost to Shawn in Fresno that he's never seen a serve like that in his life. Just couldn't do anything. Couldn't get out of the box to even return the serve. Lost that first game 25-5 in Fresno, mostly on the heels of Shawn Lenning aces.
Well, isn't it safe to say that everyone struggles with Shawn Lenning's serve?
Well, I don't think Luis Moreno does in the matches that we've seen, Dave, this year, in which Luis has gone 4-0 against Shawn. Luis seems to have a read on those serves, and as you know, Dave, sometimes you pick up a tell on somebody and returning the serves becomes
serving 6.
significantly easier.
Well, Luis did say that ball looked like it was good by 2 inches.
I agree with you, Dave. That was a really bad call, I think.
One agrees, the other disagrees. I saw it short from
I agree with Shawn Lenning.
serve.
Well, most of the time Shawn argues, Dave, he is right.
Well, that ball was good by at least 2 inches. But you had the referee and one of the line judges both saying that they saw it short. And strangely enough, those 2 line judges were on the same side of the court that the ball was short on.
That was a really strange play there. Shawn with a huge setup and just completely mishitting that shot, hitting a sidewall, front wall shot, and then Nadi had some congestion. Rally ended up ending with a Nadi Alvarado winner.
Nice
That's an amazing serve, and that's what Nadi can do. He can virtually stand anywhere in that server's box, Dave, and hit aces.
8 serving 15.
Well, I remember a couple years ago, Nadi started instituting that serve as his #1 serve. Looks like he's gone away from it here on the Race for 8 tour.
Not sure why Nadi put his hand up there, Dave.
He said that he made contact on his swing. I'd like to see the replay of that.
No, Nadi didn't.
I didn't see no contact.
I agree with our referee here.
I agree with what Nadi's saying here. The referee doesn't need to see it. Nadi made contact on his swing and raised his hand immediately. Here's the contact right there.
It had nothing to do with the swing. He lifted his knee up.
Look at the rule book. You can't hit somebody on your follow-through. That means that they're too close to you.
And Nadi's now out of the court for a second time.
The referee should either give him a technical here.
Nadi flailed his body there, Dave, hitting that shot. He had his legs and arms everywhere and created about 3 more feet of a swing than he needed. And what's Shawn Lenning supposed to do? Just wait against the back wall for the next shot? I mean, he has to bring himself back to the middle of the court.
Well, you can't hit somebody on your follow-through. It says it in the rule book.
16 serving 8. Short.
John Bike just
Second
telling me,
serve.
Dave, he doesn't have a microphone, but similar to Reggie Miller when he used to shoot threes and throw his legs out to create the foul.
Well, they changed that rule now, so.
Well, then this rule needs to be changed as well.
Well, it isn't changed right
Well,
now.
it's going to be.
17 serving 8.
I've marked it down on my scorecard here.
That doesn't make you right now.
Didn't
Nadi
say it
knows
does.
what-
I'm just
Nadi
saying.
knows what the rule is. You hit somebody on your follow-through, it's an avoidable hinder.
And now
that ball
Nadi-
reverse, Nadi.
I think Nadi wants a new referee now.
This is getting out of control here. Nadi's going to make his way into our area, and I know you are going to take your headset off and go try to put him at bay. You're watching the WPH Simple Green
He's
Race
like
for 8. Let's go
getting
back
on
and
his
look at the
knee
live
when he's,
replay
like,
of that
back
last
there and
play, and maybe
expecting
we
me to
can
call
figure
it.
out what Nadi is talking about here. It seems to me that Nadi's got the whole crowd either related to him or familiar with him, and maybe he's got a little additional pressure. If we're able to look at that last play in its entirety, we can try to figure out what it is that Nadi is talking about here. I didn't hear what the argument was, and I didn't really see it. No, the follow-through one was previous. I'm talking this last play. Nadi is very upset. He said that right there he feels that he's screened on that shot.
Side of the court. Reversing. He's on the floor.
Sometimes when you get mad, you start seeing things.
Are you going to cite that quotation, or are you just
No,
going to steal that as your own?
That's my own. I'm
Oh, that's
actually
your
saying
own.
Yes,
Oh, that's pretty
I just
creative.
thought of that.
Mhm.
I am. I'm asking.
I just went out, Dave, to see if Nadi Alvarado wanted to have a word with me about the refereeing, but he was
18
speaking to
serving
Elgato Sr. Elgato saying that
Short.
he's too upset to be playing good handball right now. He needs to
Second
calm
serve.
down and needs to focus on the next point.
There's just something up with Luis Moreno and Nadi Alvarado. When Luis refs a
19
Nadi match,
serving
we
8.
always see this sort of thing go on.
I think there's
That's a
more
short ball.
up with Nadi Alvarado
I
playing
couldn't
Shawn
see it.
Lenning.
You were in front of me again. What did you guys see?
I
Okay.
saw
I saw that short.
Second
me
serve.
too. And the line judges agreed, and now they're calling the second serve. I think if Luis says he can't see that, he needs to move from where he's standing to the left side. I know that we've got so many paid spectators here that might lose a seat. These guys are giving their all, though, Dave, here.
That's a great shot from Nadi Alvarado, but
Yeah, you want to switch?
I believe, Dave, Shawn Lenning frustrates Nadi Alvarado so much because Nadi Alvarado's Nadi Alvarado. He's got that amazing serve that Nadi has such a hard time returning, much like Nadi Alvarado does to his opponents. And Shawn Lenning also brings back Nadi's best serves. Very frustrating. Nadi's seeing balls come back that he's not used to seeing come back. Nadi has that mentality,
Second
Dave, that
serve.
when he hits a great serve, the point is over because it's not coming back. But Shawn Lenning brings almost all of them back.
That's that good serve I like from Nadi. It's almost a screen.
But look at what Shawn does with it, Dave. Shawn punches it back into that back right corner. Nadi flips a three-wall shot, and then Shawn's waiting for it and fly kills the ball straight down the left.
20 serving 9.
Nadi wins that point against any other player 95% of the time.
Score here now 21-9.
21 serving 9.
And Dave, I haven't been right on one prediction yet in this event except for the Alan Garner upset. And I'm clearly way off predicting a Shawn Lenning letdown here in this event as he just looks unbelievably sharp.
Well, we saw Nadi Alvarado lose in his first game yesterday and then come back after being down 13-3 against his opponent in the
22
quarterfinals,
serving
and it looked
9.
like he was just able to do it. So don't count him
Short.
out now. That was a short ball. Looks like Shawn
Second
is going
serve.
to win. Statistically, Nadi has about a 1% chance of winning this first game, but Nadi can
23 serving
possibly
9.
work something out here in the second game.
And Shawn Lenning now just locating the serve down the right. He slid a natural down that Nadi didn't even move for. That time he rips a reverse that bounces away from Nadi into the side wall.
This is game point, second serve.
Second serve.
There's something about certain players, Dave, where the matchup just doesn't really seem to suit them. I mean, you see it with Luis Moreno against Alan Garner. He's lost 12 out of 14 times that they've played. Nadi Alvarado, who's ranked number 3, matches up against Shawn Lennon, who's ranked number 2, and just can't do anything against him, Dave. He just is completely neutralized. And it's just one of those things in sports, Dave, where, as they say, matchups make fights and styles make fights.
You're watching the WPH Simple Green Race for 8 here in Los Angeles. Great Fred Lewis, the 6-time national 4-wall champion, is courtside right now. Let's go to Fred, who may or may not have an interview there locally. Fred, what's going on and what do you see courtside?
Well, Shawn obviously was the dominant player in that game. Reasons being serve was very sharp, especially closing out the match there at the end. You know, it remains to be seen whether Nadi will loosen up in the second game. I don't see him moving very well to the ball. He had some, you know, setups that he could not convert because of movement, and so. You know, that's what it's coming down to. In terms of the refereeing, you know, this is something that, you know, has been a challenge for handball for many years. I don't think it's right to have a player refereeing, especially one, you know, that just lost. You know, emotionally they're down, and their heads aren't into the match. So, you know, this is a challenge for us as an organization. To move forward and professionalize, you know, the refereeing instead of having, you know, the players themselves ref. You know, we need to get some neutral parties that are not involved in the tournament or out of the tournament and have them referee and train them to the point where, you know, you can't have a player asking to remove a referee. You know, it doesn't happen in any other sport. You know, you don't see this in any other sport. So, you know, if we're going to move along as a professional organization, you know, we need to step up and do something about it.
That's Fred Lewis and his take about refereeing. It's very difficult for us to find a referee that is a non-handball player like you see other professional sports. You see a lot of the referees in other sports may not have ever even played that sport, and yet they're refereeing or a judge for that particular sport. And what Fred Lewis just said is you are the lead ref. You were talking to the Luis Moreno and kind of talking about whether he should quit this and give it to another referee, Dave. Fred Lewis is saying it's very difficult for a person who just lost a previous match to then go in because they're emotional and actually call a correct game, that other sports don't do this. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that it's part of the handball culture that when you've lost, you actually go in and ref. So I don't think this is anything new for handball players. And I think it certainly depends on the person. There's people that lose that I would never put into ref the next match. But a guy like Luis Moreno, Dave, does not dwell on things. He's not the type of guy that's going to go sit back in his hotel room and sulk because he just lost the match. He realizes that losing is part of sports, and he's, you know, in a good frame of mind right now. I just had a conversation with him, and I don't think it's impacting his refereeing job whatsoever. I think there was a couple of close calls there early in that first game, and then Nadi starting to lobby for some calls that really didn't exist late in that first game because he was just upset. But, you know, handball is unlike a lot of sports, Dave, where there's so much subjectivity. You know, you see a referee in tennis, there's no subjectivity. The ball's either in or out. He doesn't have to determine whether the players were in each other's way or not. But anytime you have subjectivity with the officiating, Dave, like you see in the NFL where every play could be holding or pass interference or whatnot, then there's going to be arguments, and it's just impossible to avoid.
Well,
and I think Luis Moreno's doing as well as he can do right now.
I think what's missing here is that Shawn Lennon played pretty good ball. His serves were amazing, and then his first strike was even better. And look what he does there as he goes around the revolving door, goes over the top of the ball, slides it down that left wall, and gets that side out. And he gets a point as we kick off game number 2 with referee Luis Moreno. And I don't believe this is a referee scandal by any means. I think Shawn Lennon would have won no matter who would have been reffing.
Well, Shawn Lennon sends a big message there on that first return of serve as Nadi comes out with that extra juice, trying to turn the switch, flip the switch, as you said, Dave, and start hot here in the second game, and he hits a pretty decent serve that comes around the revolving door, and Shawn Lennon flat kills it. And there's another flat kill, and when I say flat kill, Dave, I am not exaggerating.
2 serving
That was
0.
a mouse, Dave. We might need an exterminator here.
Three serving 0.
Nice pickup there from Naughty. And Shawn sends him back into the backcourt.
Side out.
Shawn hits that ball, that skip-in ball on that right corner a lot, Dave. I don't know what he does with his body. I know he fades
1
away,
serving 3.
but he just barely misses it.
It seems like he misses that almost every time.
Point.
The score is 2-3 now. Alvarado serving.
Great serve there from Naughty.
2 serving 3.
Really amped up that reverse down the left. And there's another one, but this one comes around. And Shawn's just got that amazing revolving door ability, Dave, where he can take the ball and hit it just as hard down the left or the right. I don't see many guys, Dave, outside of Alan Garner and Shawn Lenning that can take that revolving door and crush it back down the same side.
Hold it.
I know, Dave, that you'll agree with that call.
That hold it call?
4 serving
Oh, yeah, I
2.
agree with that.
Okay.
I also agree with the not too many guys go back down the same wall.
Beautiful shot there from Naughty. Had Shawn pinned on the left, wouldn't have mattered, though, as he hit that shot 2 inches high.
3 serving 4.
I see a lot of players that go around the revolving door and will send it into a corner on the opposite side of the court. You know, the Armando Ortiz, Naughty Alvarado, they're almost automatic going with the ball as they float with that ball around the revolving door. You see guys like Alan Garner and Shawn Lennon will actually break it all the way to the other side, go over the top and keep it flat, which I think is more devastating.
Short.
The guys that go diagonally on the revolving door, like the Armando Ortiz or Naughty Alvarado, become
Second
a little bit
serve.
more predictable. So if they don't roll the ball out flat, it's an easy re-kill for their opponents. But guys like Alan Garner and Shawn Lennon, who can go either way, Dave, makes it much more difficult for their opponent to anticipate and re-kill. That time, Naughty misses a very easy setup.
And that's a type of
In the
shot right
service
there
box.
that will get
5
Naughty
serving
going
4.
because he had a great serve and he went for the first strike and then skipped it right in.
I agree with you. That would have given him the lead. And Shawn Lennon is just absolutely crushing the ball. And just as I say that, he puts a little bit of a feathery touch on that left-handed left corner kill. Naughty Alvarado on his heels there. You don't anticipate a player shooting the corner, Dave, off balance
6
from
serving
shoulder height
4.
with their offhand. But this is Shawn Lennon. This is the freak that we're talking about here, Dave.
Naughty Alvarado's talking right here. I don't know what he is saying.
6 serving 4.
I think he was telling the referee to slow down on the cadence.
Naughty plays that serve really well, considering he was fooled. He was leaning left.
That ball hit his
Played over.
shorts on the way, and
Check
I
the
actually
ball.
saw that, believe it or not. It was on the right side of his shorts, and it just flipped it on the way by. It was a late call from Naughty, but
If this was 1955 wearing the Jimmy Jacobs shorts,
6
it might have
serving
wouldn't have
4.
hit the shorts.
well, it would have probably hurt. Boy, Shawn is just cracking the ball. Now, from our location here in the club, we're a couple
7 serving 4.
courts away from Shawn. We can hear that sound through our headsets. I have better hearing than
Side
you.
out.
I agree with that call there from our referee, Shawn Lennon, completely out of position there. He did lose sight of the ball, but I don't think it affected the play at all.
5 serving 7.
This is where the Alvarado clan, Dave, can really start to have an impact on the match. If Naughty's able to get himself into this match, and you start hearing that cheering, Shawn Lennon is a sensitive type of player, Dave. That could get into his head just a little bit, and that could turn the tide here.
It's like playing 2-on-1 at times.
6 serving 7.
Well, particularly, Dave, when Shawn Lennon doesn't have any of his team here, so he doesn't have any support. And Naughty Alvarado has all the support. The entire crowd is behind him.
Naughty gets a 7th point, but no
7
applause from the crowd on
serving
that one.
Oh, surprise there.
So Naughty did that one solo.
Short.
Well, I think the
that was
effects.
just one-on-one
Short.
with Naughty there.
Well, I think the effects of the previous 2
Second
points
serve.
gave him the lift that he needed. So it was still a 2-on-1 situation. It was just he put them in the corner.
Well, I know they've got, I think, 13 Alvarados or bikes that are all here for this event. And what they do is they have these little wires that hook up to everybody, and then Naughty Alvarado Sr. pushes the button, and that gives them a little
Serving
electric
7.
charge, and they all clap and say, "Come on, Naughty, let's
But
go."
it's actually attached to their nipples. So it's
Okay.
it can be a little bit painful if you're not clapping. Sorry I had to go there.
Me too, actually. And I'm going to apologize to those watching right now that the words expressed on this broadcast are those of Dave Fink only. And the letters that you write, you spell his name with one I. That's Dave, F-I-N-K, D-A-V-E, F-I-N-K. Don't get it confused with David Vincent. There's only one I in team. There's not an I in
9
team,
serving
but there is
7.
an I in Fink.
Short.
There's 2 I's in our names, Dave. That's about the only thing we have in common.
Second serve.
That ball, I think, hit Shawn on the way up. Shawn has 9. Alvarado has 7. Now, Dave, you brought this up yesterday, and we've talked about it
9
before.
serving 7.
When the play ends, what do you say if right now the referee calls the score immediately and then allow the
10 serving 7.
server to come in and serve at his pace? What would that do for the person returning the serve? Would they still get 10 seconds?
Well, I think that's the
11
way that it should
serving
be done.
7.
10 seconds from the time you call the score for the return of serve person to get ready?
The problem with that, Dave, is that there are players like Naughty who have to adjust his eye guards because they get foggy or they may get
serving
wet. And there's
7.
other situations that can occur. But the same exact situation takes place in tennis, Dave, and there's never a problem with quick serving.
But in tennis, they don't wear eye guards, and they don't have the
But
problem
they
of-
go to the towel and everything. Every point, the score is called as soon as the point ends, and then players go to the
12-7
towel. The returner might go to the towel, the server might not. But the server's always serving only when the returner is ready. I've never seen a situation in
minute.
tennis where a serve was caught by the returner and said, I wasn't ready for that, even though the score has been called 20 or 25 seconds previous.
Could that translate over to handball in some sort of fashion where the referee calls the score right now? I mean, I know we're in the middle of a timeout situation, but calls it immediately after the point, and then he clicks his stopwatch and says, we have 10 seconds now to get that ball into play. And that would somehow halt some of the shenanigans that we see on the court with the I'm not set, my hands aren't on my knees, or I'm not ready for the return of serve. Or should we just keep it the way it is?
Well, my problem with the referee calling the score when he does is sometimes you're in the box and you're ready to serve and you're waiting on his cadence, and sometimes it's different. He might make you wait 3 seconds or 1 second. I know that you said you just simply bounce the ball while you're waiting to serve, and once he calls the score, then you serve, which I think is a good idea. But in tennis, Dave, if you watch, you'll see as soon as a point ends,
10 seconds.
the umpire will say 30-15. From there, the players have 20 seconds to serve, and I've never once seen a returner say, I wasn't ready for the serve.
Let's go to Fred Lewis really quickly, who has John Alvarado Bike Jr., the third, sitting courtside. Fred?
Hi, I'm here with John. John, what are your thoughts so far? How do you think your uncle's doing, and what do you think he needs to do to get back in the match?
I think he needs to get rid of all of his setup. Like, he's hitting it too. I mean, I know Lenning kills it better than anybody I've seen. He kills it from anywhere. But he just needs to try to get rid of those
13
opportunities for
serving
Lenning to
7.
kill.
You getting ready for the Gold Cup of Junior Handball in a couple weeks in Santa Barbara?
Yes. And,
Doing the train.
oh, I got to start training.
14 serving 7.
Okay, great. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Fred. Jab, John Alvarado Bike. Naughty not taking that ball. Let's see what Luis says. He says played over.
14 serving 7. Wait.
Score is 14-7.
Was
here.
that a replay, Dave?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I said. I
14 serving 7.
wanted to see what would happen there. In the first game, there would have been some controversy probably.
Look at Shawn wait out that hop, and then a very fortunate break there. Some players believe that we should play bad bounces. Wouldn't that also be included in a bad bounce, Dave?
Well,
that's why
that's a bad bounce that's created by just physics, not
15
because of a
serving
bad,
7.
you know, a spot on the wall or a crease or a crack that created that.
I believe that's the reason we shouldn't play bad bounces. And Nadi lets that ball get so close to himself, Dave, on that back wall setup.
Nadi waiting for a
I'm
call.
gonna call that a point.
I knew that Nadi would say something there.
No idea. What's the down ball? What is it?
The referee said, I'm going to call that a point. And Nadi said, I know. That's the problem. You have no idea what is a down ball and what is good. Watch Nadi Alvarado towel down the floor here. I think Nadi's just frustrated with what Shawn Lennon is doing to him at this moment, Dave, and I'm not necessarily certain that Luis Moreno has anything to do with this.
Well, Luis Moreno is certainly not affecting the outcome of this match, but Nadi Alvarado is allowing Luis
Score
Moreno to
16
distract
serving
him.
7.
And that's the last thing he can afford to do right now.
Out of watching the players play today, do you think that Alan Garner looks more strong than Shawn Lennon?
Well, Alan Garner for that first
8
game and a half
serving
today against
16.
Luis Moreno was the best player I've seen in this event. The Alan Garner that ended the match was a little bit shaky, wasn't going for his shots and executing his shots as well. Shawn Lennon, Dave, right now looks
Second
really
serve.
good. I would put him right at about that same, in that same category as Alan Garner in that first game and a half.
Nadi breaks over the top of that ball and gets a point.
I would normally, Dave, start etching Shawn Lenning's name into my plaque, but having seen what Nadi did yesterday,
9
coming
serving
back from a similar
16.
deficit, I'm not going to be so quick to etch. Problem is, Dave, if this match ends in the next 10 minutes, I'll be etching after the match, and I've got other responsibilities. It'll be difficult for me to etch and not be late for my upcoming responsibilities. So it's kind of that tricky situation where I'm going to have to decide here in the next couple of minutes.
Can't you just plug it into your etching computer and
No,
let it?
unfortunately,
and
I
let it
didn't
etch?
get that. I
Serving
didn't get that
16.
exact device. I got
Okay.
the one where you have to actually do it manually.
Okay, so you did go to overstock.com.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, it would have been an extra couple of thousand G's, Dave, for that automatic.
Meanwhile, Nadi Alvarado is scoring points at will now against Shawn Lennon, so maybe it's smart that you did not start etching.
11 serving 16.
11-16 here, game 2. Alvarado loses the first one, 25-9.
Nadi with a pre-dive there. I think he could have run through and then dove, but instead he flops, almost a three-wall big ball type of flop there, Dave, that we see from those guys.
Well,
I don't think he realized that ball was sitting up a little bit more than it was.
Well, I believe Nadi's kind of gone to that sort of dive. He has aging knees. Remember, he had that knee surgery. Running forward really hard and running through a ball and then stopping is what's really bad with the type of knee injury and surgery that Nadi Alvarado had. It's sometimes just easier to flop down on the ground.
Okay.
If he runs through that, that means he also has to stop
Right.
and then return and go back, and that's
17
where he's
serves
really
11.
feeling the pain. 17-11.
Side out.
And Shawn hits it right in the ground. There's a point for Nadi, now 12-17.
Nadi very much in
12
this
serve
second game now,
17.
Dave, particularly if he can hit a couple of good serves here and apply some scoreboard pressure.
Second serve.
As a
Second
player,
serve.
you really want the referee to call short, even if it's so obvious, 10 or 12 inches short, because you get that feeling like, what's going on here? I mean, great shot making from Nadi Alvarado Jr. today, pushes Shawn side to side.
It seems that Nadi's got the power back, and he's blowing balls past Shawn now. Shawn looks like
13 serving
he's
17.
red and his body's flush.
You have to wonder, Dave, why Nadi Alvarado can't start matches in this mode. Maybe he needs to go into the adjacent court and play a practice game. It
Wow.
just doesn't seem like his warm-up routine, Dave, is getting him prepared to play early in these matches. And he digs himself these significant holes. And against these top players, Dave, it's very difficult to continuously come back.
You are watching the WPH Simple Green Race 4-8 as we are live in Los Angeles at the historic Los Angeles Athletic Club, the club that Jimmy Jacobs played at when he won his national championships in the mid-50s. Let's go to Fred Lewis, who's courtside, and talk to Fred about the impact that Jimmy Jacobs and this facility had on handball back in those days. Fred?
Well, you know, Jimmy came on the scene somewhere around the mid-50s and won 3 national titles in a row. Basically, you know, dominating the sport. At that time, you had a aging Vic Hershkowitz, you know, who was runner-up to Jimmy a couple of years, if my memory serves right. And, you know, over the years, the LAAC has been a home to a number of top players. And back in 1970, they had a national tournament here, and, you know, things have always been great. It's just, you know, nostalgic to come back here and be, you know, within this great facility.
Imagine all the great players that played here. I know you're one of them, and Nadi Alvarado Sr., but you look back at guys like Wade Reisner and Jimmy Jacobs. This facility actually had the very first glass back wall and glass sidewall viewing for the stands and the TVs in Southern California. The Los Angeles Athletic Club.
16,
That's actually not true.
16 to 17, according to their website, it is. Nadi Alvarado, who was down big, Dave,
Yeah.
just within 1 point of Shawn Lennon, now loses a point.
serve 16.
We were talking about etching Shawn's name into the trophy here, but now look how Nadi's playing.
Hold it.
Good call there from Luis.
Well, Luis should have probably called it a point earlier. I think Nadi's smiling because he wants to say something, but
16.
he's not going to. 18 to 16 here. That ball almost hit Nadi in the face. Shawn hit that so hard into the crack that
19 serving 16.
bounced right into Nadi's face. 19 to 16 is the score now. Gee, Shawn is just loading up right now and teeing off on Nadi's return of his serve at 20 to 16. Surprised Nadi did not take a timeout.
20 serving 16.
Great get there from Shawn Lennon. Love that Luis Moreno lets Nadi play there, and Nadi has no argument there. He had a beautiful opportunity there, Dave, to win that rally. Didn't put the ball down. He wants that shot every day, Dave, and twice on Sundays. He took the shot, and now he's upset because he didn't put it away. And let's take a quick instant replay of that there, Dave.
He just hit one hell of a return.
You hear the referee saying he just hit one hell of a return. Let's watch this.
Nadi
I agree that
could
there
have
is,
put this away.
there is a screen
Now,
right
here's
there.
a huge setup for Nadi. Now, Nadi would have been furious if Luis Moreno would have called the hinder there, Dave. He took the shot.
Now, once again, we have the towel on top of the back wall as opposed to the players just stepping out of the court and dropping it on the ground. They are throwing it over the back wall, and this is what happens. You're watching the WPH Simple Green Race 4-8 as we are live here in Los Angeles. Nadi Alvarado Sr. should actually turn this around the other way, but this is Nadi Alvarado Sr. He's different than everybody else. He should use the handle. Dave,
Right.
Commentary got to a point now where we're doing the commentary on the towel getting off the back wall. So I would call this the low spot of our career. But you and I both know
It's far from the low spot, Dave, unfortunately.
He's won 11 national championships, and he's also retrieved 1 towel off the back wall.
He went fishing. He caught his bait.
You and I have had low spots in our lives, and they've all happened during the live webcast.
I wish I could say that was true.
21 serving 16.
Shawn Lennon back in here after that extended break. This sounds like he's breaking the ball every time he hits it. Shawn Lennon saw that momentum change, and now he says, I'm going to take care of that right now. 22-16.
22 serving 16.
Right out.
And there's a side out.
17 serves 22.
And there's a point for Nadi Alvarado. Trying to take this one to a tiebreaker. Shawn Lenning's at 22 and Alvarado at 18.
Serving 22.
Now it's 22 to 19.
19 serving 22.
And now you see Shawn cheating over to the left.
Great camera angle here, Dave. And that ball hits a crack, and Shawn gets the side out and a point. Unfortunate for the Alvarado camp.
23 serving 19.
That's kind of a strange call here. Nadi Alvarado went down to his set position. Referee calls a score. Nadi raises his hand. I think he has like a growing issue or some kind of injury. And there's 24. This is game and match.
Second serve.
Oh, sorry, second serve.
Nadi's fortunate that that hit Shawn, because that would have been a big setup to Shawn's right hand in the front court.
If it wouldn't have hit that sidewall first, which I think it might have gone up there, Shawn might have taken that with his left.
2 serves, 23 serving 19.
Oh, Shawn gets
goes
a
for a
crack.
second serve ace, and that will pretty much ice this match, Dave, as now Nadi Alvarado faces match
19.
point.
Fred Lewis will have an interview with Shawn Lennon if he gets this point right immediately after Shawn either walks off the court, or Fred will make his way to the court and talk to Shawn Lennon right on the court, which is what I'd prefer.
Well,
and Shawn did it. Shawn takes down Nadi Alvarado 25-9, 25-19. We will go to Fred Lewis when he gets Shawn Lennon courtside. Hopefully we can get Fred to catch Shawn right on that court because it's so well lit. You're watching the WPH Simple Green Race for 8. It's going to be Shawn Lennon and Alan Garner in the finals here in Los Angeles. Let's go to Fred Lewis, who's courtside. Fred?
Shawn, congratulations. Did a great job that match. How you feeling? How do you think the match went?
I liked my intensity. I kept it up pretty well, my focus. So it's usually my bigger problem.
Well, it looks like you know, you're really concentrating on the serves. You had serves going down both walls, left and right, reverses and naturals. Why do you think your intensity and focus were a lot better this tournament than we saw last tournament?
Probably because I got creamed last tournament. That probably has something to do with it. But nice bend to my legs was good for my serve. I have a little flexibility right now, so it's good.
Well, you got to come back in about 4 hours and play Alan Garner, who you've played many times. You know, what are your feelings? What do you think you need to do to close this tournament out?
I just need to blow him off the court, basically. Just power him, cut it off, and just push the pace. I think I'll be fine.
Okay, congratulations once again, and we'll see you in a few hours.
Thank you very much, Fred. That's great remarks right there from Shawn Lennon, who says the way to beat Alan Garner for this final will be to just blow him off the court, try to keep up a heavy pace, and put on the pressure. We're going to take a timeout, and we'll have more handball coming up right around the corner. It was Shawn Lennon defeating Nadi Alvarado 25-9, 25-19. Shawn Lennon will be in the finals to face Alan Garner at 4 o'clock Pacific time. Please tell your friends to watch the Race for 8 number 7 final here in Los Angeles. We'll have more action coming up right around the corner. 5th place through 12th place will be coming up next as bonus coverage will continue this live broadcast day. You stick around here at racefor8.com.
Non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
For 20 years, the Inner City Handball Association has educated, mentored, and served young people through handball. Young people that participate in the Inner City Handball Association programs have a high graduation rate from high school and continue on to college. Inner City Handball teams are good athletes, good students, and good ambassadors for the sport of handball. We need your help to continue our work. Inner City Handball Association is a registered 501c3 tax-exempt charity. Please donate today. Thank you.
Working and working out takes a lot of energy. That's why I drink Zenergy. Feeling fantastic and looking good has never been easier. Science, extreme science for your active lifestyle.
It's time to join forces. Get energized and fuel up right. Because starting today, every kid in America has a mission. Bring out the action hero in you. Be part of the greatest action movie ever. The first movie that puts you in the action. Show us how you train and eat like an action hero. Join in at actionheroalliance.com.